Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mythology Monday. Today we are talking about the next sorcerer line in the world of Tauren, which is the Celtic line. Surprise! So the Celtic line, their line mark, again, the mark that shows up on your neck for letting people know what family and line you're from, is a leaf, and their color is light green. You will remember from last week that the Tiaga is a dark green, the Celtics are light green. So that's the color their robes are and the color that their magic will be when they're powerful. And for the Titan, their eyes will flash the light green color. Now, the founder of the Celtic line is, as you can probably guess, Celtics, or like the Druids and that. And their powers are very heavily based on plants. So what that means is they have the ability to grow or shrink different plants. They can make plants grow in any kind of a soil. They can make any kind of plant life appear, whether it's in water or on land or even on rocky soil and that. And while it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, they control so much in the world at large simply because they have power over plants. So they came from the Celtics. When I was making my decisions on what aspects of Celtic mythology to use for my line of Celtic specifically, I ignored the more violent or menacing, we'll say, trickstery maybe, aspects of the Celtic line, and instead I went for the more peaceful, harmonious aspects of it. So the other big fact that they have, besides being able to control plant life, is to bring about peace and calmness in people. So they can grow plants and help like make your forest lush and make your garden beautiful and that, but they can also help to bring about a peace. So they are very important to different lines where they have a tendency to be chaotic. They don't tend to get along with the Heirs or the Salem sorcerers, who have that more violent, chaotic element in them. But sometimes if you can strike a friendship up between them, they are very helpful to each other. The Celtics can balance out the chaos and violence that comes from an Heirs and a Salem and help bring them peace. So when they're learning to use their powers, if they start to lose control, a Celtic can help them in that regard to bring back that balance inside of them. So in one of my books later, we will run into an incredibly powerful Heirs Salem sorcerer, and he is very lucky to have a relative that is a Celtic because she has always been able to balance him out. And when he starts to lose control of his powers, she's always been able there to bring him back down and stop him from exploding, because as you remember from Line of Heirs, they explode, which is fun. The Celtics are a very prolific group as well. They came from a large group of Celtics and Druids and that came over into the world of Tauren when they had the land established by the sorcerer who lifted it up from the water. They needed plant life and someone who would be able to handle the plant life and that, so the Celtics were welcomed with open arms. They made themselves at home. They are one of the larger territories that take place on the Forbidden Lands island. They are very friendly and kind. It comes from the whole balancing of harmony and things like that, that they are very outgoing and kind. They tend to get along with most of the sorcerers. They're specifically fond of the Tiaga line and also the Mir line, because if you've got plants and you've got dirt, they tend to get along. They also get along with the Poseidon because of the fact that plants need water, and plants are mostly made up of water and chloroform as well. So chlorophyll. Therefore, they get along really well with those as well. But in general, they are simply a very kind and balanced group of sorcerers. They don't tend to have a lot of issues with people and that. They do tend to keep to themselves a little bit, and they like to putt around their garden and make their forest and everything look beautiful. There is one specific sorcerer type that is special in one of the older Celtic family lines. He comes from one of the lines that descended from one of the more powerful Celtic mythology gods, and this specific type of sorcerer is referred to as an usurper. So they come from the old Celtic lines, and they actually have the ability to take powers on from the sorcerers around them. So if there are sorcerers around them, they can borrow the powers from them. So that makes them a little bit dangerous, which is why it went to a Celtic family line, because if your whole thing is about peace and harmony and that, being able to take the extreme power from somebody else, if you are really big on balancing yourself, it means that you can typically wield it in a little bit safer of a manner than someone who may have had some kind of chaotic or forceful nature to begin with. So thank you very much for stopping by. I hope you learned something new about my mythology line in the world of Tauren, and I hope you have a wonderful day.